Hi, hello there, this is Jeso, and this is my first actual video here on YouTube, but feel free to think of it as a prototype for my future videos. At the moment, it's just me and my newcomer getting accustomed to recording voiceovers and relearning how to speak. Anyway, I'm a digital artist and I've been active on Instagram for the past 2 years. You can find me at jeso.illust. For this first prototype of my first YouTube video, I thought I'd take you along as I work on the second half of these two little portrait studies. The plan was to finish both studies in 1 week, but I was clearly destined to finish this piece on YouTube, so I didn't accomplish that. It's kind of poetic if you think about it, but don't think about it too much. Yeah, it wouldn't be me if I didn't start the line art on the wrong layer. I work in Procreate and mainly use 4 brushes. 2 are default brushes and 2 are custom versions of those 2 brushes that I've tweaked just a little bit. For my line art, I used 6B and HB pencil. The 6B pencil is a little crispier, more textured, whereas the HB pencil is softer. I think they look really good together. You know how sometimes when your line art is done and you erase your sketch, you're left with just normal SpongeBob and Squidward? You got a little confused in the kitchen and you flavored your food with just flour. No need to feel embarrassed, it happens to the best of us. I still work quite slowly and precisely when I'm doing the line art for the face, especially the eyes. For the rest, as I get more and more comfortable over time, I try to work much more loosely. Sometimes I keep lines as weird and wonky as they were in my sketch. I deliberately pay attention to keeping them exactly as they were. At times this means my characters end up looking like they go to the same hair salon as Powder, but it helps me preserve everything I love about my sketches. Not gonna lie, I don't draw spiky hair a lot, so she kind of started looking like a kiwi a little bit. So I worked on it off cam. Let's jump to something else. When I want my line art to look a little more interesting and a little richer, I do this little trick. I mean, it's not really a trick. I just duplicate the line art layer, set the one below to multiply and change the color. In this case, I picked blue, and then I blur the line art just a little bit. I like how doing this adds a little bit of color to the line art without changing the color, and it also adds smoothness without taking away crispiness. I don't know if I can explain it very well, but if you look at the darker parts, they're still kind of crispy, but there is this softness around them. When I want this softer and dreamier look for my line art, but I don't want the color to affect my coloring, I just opt for a neutral warm gray tone instead of blue or pink or whatever. To color, I use my tweaked versions of the 6B and HB pencil. I changed some very basic settings. I just made them larger and turned off pressure sensitivity because I don't work with pressure sensitivity when I color. And yes, I do fill in my base colors by hand. Some might think of it as a waste of time, and I do think of it as a waste of time, but I do it anyway. It makes me happy, I don't know. The hair was a little challenging. I don't draw spiky hair a lot and I avoid spiky shapes in general because while I strongly believe that the 6B pencil can do absolutely everything and it's the only brush you need, I'm not biased or anything. It took me a little bit of time to figure out how I wanted to render or draw spiky shapes with it. They just never turned out spiky enough, if you know what I mean. But in the end, I like how the hair turned out. It looks very different from the hair I usually draw. My art style is very simple when it comes to coloring, but I like it. I might rely more on screen recordings in the future because the way filming my screen with my phone affected the colors is kind of upsetting. This is what I was actually looking at this entire time. It's a little bit different. I could also just get better at recording my screen. That is also an option. Man, really bold, colorful, and smudged makeup is definitely one of my favorite things to draw. It just tells a story. Was she smooching? Was she fighting? We don't know, we weren't there. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed this little illustration, little video of mine. It was my first time putting a video together, but I had a lot of fun and I hope you enjoyed watching. At least a little bit. See ya!